Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Oler's Wallet. Welcome to, I guess we'll call it the social distancing happy hour 10,000 subscribers special. We'll go with that. How's that sound? So thank you all for joining into this. If you are tuning in right now, I did get a new microphone because the last time I did a live stream, it was really crappy. So let me know how the sound quality is here. Hopefully it's a lot better. So let me know down in the comments. Well, it finally happened. It took 314 videos, 2 years and about 4 months, but we have finally hit that 10,000 subscriber mark on the channel. And I'm really excited and super humble about it. So first off, thank you all so much for that support, because without you all, it wouldn't mean anything at all. The channel wouldn't be what it is. And hitting that 10,000 sub mark was a big goal for 2020, and we hit it. So it really means a lot. Thank you so much. And now that we've hit 10,000 subs, I will be getting access to YouTube stories. So I should be having another way to interact with you. I think it takes like up to 4 weeks for it to go live. So be on the lookout, because maybe I'll do some Q&A when I'm on the run, or give you some behind the scenes access or something along those lines. So I'm excited about that. It's a new way to interact with all of you. Now, with that in mind, let's take a trip down memory lane, because when I started this channel back in February of 2018, I didn't really know what to expect with it, right? I mean, I had just moved over from blogging. Also, before we go any further, be sure to ask your questions, because these Q&As are, I love doing the live streams, but answering your questions is really why I do it. So be sure to ask your questions, because once I get through this little memory lane talk, I'll answer some questions. But back to the story. So, I had just moved over from blogging, and trying out YouTube was a fun new adventure. And I think everyone has these thoughts when you start something new: is what if it grows to be something really big? Like, what if it grows? And I think we all have that thought, but in reality, there's a lot of competition out there. You have so many different channels, and you just really never know how it's going to turn out, or how people are going to respond to your content, or if you're making good content at all. I know sometimes friends and family might say you're making great stuff, but that may not always be true. I know people try really hard, but that might not always be the case. And as a credit card YouTuber, there are just so many channels out there now, and there's a lot of great channels out there. I know some of them have temporarily moved to stimulus videos, but beyond that, when they do talk credit cards, it's great. I mean, you have David over at Wisefly. You have Jake Bro, who has like exploded, and he just puts out some amazing stuff. Great information, great comparisons. You have Adam over at Proud Money, who is like consistently putting out great credit card videos. And then you have like Sebastian over at Sebi. I mean, he's probably the top credit card YouTuber in the game. I mean, I think we see Sebastian, and he's like on a different level when he thinks about things. And I can really appreciate that about him. But there's just so many options out there for people, that there's just so many out there. And I remember when I first started, it's to me, it's funny now, because when I remember starting, there were days where videos I'd get 0 views in a day, or no subs, or even I would lose subscribers. I would have a negative sub count for the day, where I would go down more than I would gain. And that can be really discouraging for people. And, in the days it was discouraging for me as well, because you're putting in so much work and so much, time and effort. And, if people aren't responding to it, it can be tough, but it's always tough to start something new. And you just need to keep pushing forward and making more content, because when you're new, you lack that library. And that library is really important, because that's how people are going to find you. I have what now 316 videos, I think it is. Even if you're looking for something maybe that's out of date or not relevant anymore, you still could pop up on the channel. And that library is going to help you grow as well. But ultimately, making quality content is really what's going to people coming back for you. And, I think you can always grow and learn from previous videos and see what people are doing. And as long as you're growing and innovating something new and looking to improve, I think people will keep coming back. Definitely do try to make quality videos for everyone. Although sometimes my videos can be a little bit different for people, or maybe go against the grain on something. But those are things I truly believe in when I talk about it. And when looking back, it took about 12 weeks for me to get my first 100 subscribers. From there, it took another 5 months for me to get my first to hit 1,000. And then from there, it took another 18 months to get to 10,000. So, it's a slow process. And, I remember watching a video from was it Casey Neistat a while back where he said his first 10,000 subscribers was harder than that, than getting his first million or something along those lines. And to me, I found that pretty interesting because he's millions of subscribers, and he thought his first 10,000 was the hardest. So it's just putting in the time and just knowing that if you're growing, it will continue to grow. It's funny. I've gotten comments before from people too. I've gotten in my messages or emails or DMs. It's like, I'm not growing as fast as other creators out there or other channels. And, look, I realize that, and I'm perfectly fine with that because each creator brings something different to the table. And I think it's okay to know that you're not always going to grow as fast as the next person. Just keep doing you. You know what I mean? Just keep doing you. And, I feel like, I'm gonna give appreciation right here. I think a big part, I owe a big part of that initial boost or success to the channel to Ernest over at Trip Astute, because he reached out to me when I think I had about 500 subscribers and wanted me to come onto his channel and do a credit card Q&A and just talk credit cards and kind of, have that interaction. And that opportunity really meant a lot because it helped me grow. I grew a few hundred subscribers from that interview or collaboration, and I continued to seem to grow after that. And sometimes I wonder, how would that have been, or what would the channel have done if I wasn't given or had that opportunity in front of me? And that kindness and that opportunity from Ernest is something that's really stuck with me, because there are a lot of smaller creators out there with great content that just need an opportunity, because it's hard to break through the noise sometimes. And, I'm not a huge channel. We've hit 10,000, which is a big number. But when you compare it to other channels, it's big, but it's not as big as others. And I keep that in mind. But for someone with a couple hundred subscribers, maybe a couple thousand, it can be extremely helpful for them to have that opportunity. And, I don't view it as like I work with someone as a charity case, and I don't mean that in a negative form, but I respect the value that other creators put in. And I don't really care what the subscriber count is. If you're putting out quality, and it deserves to be seen. And I definitely do. I definitely try to remember that with that opportunity Ernest gave me. And if I find someone with quality content, regardless of the subscriber count, 50, 1,500, 2, 3,000, I want to work with them. One, because it could provide a value to my audience, but two, sometimes they just need an opportunity. And then, as the channel's grown, it's led to other collaborations as well, and a lot of other, friendships along the way. And those have been fun. I love the collaborations. They're just so much fun to do, because you get to see other aspects, and, you learn more about the people. And, I've made great relationships with people. I talk to a few creators pretty regularly, and it's great to be able to have that. But even with all that great stuff, interacting with all of you has really been my favorite part of this whole YouTube career, YouTube channel. I don't know, because the comments you leave, the questions you ask, it all makes me all that makes me want to continue to improve what I'm putting out. How can I improve the videos I'm putting out, even if it's more information or more pointed information right to you to help you get the answers you're looking for. And, even the trolls, I'm starting to get a few more trolls out there, and it's fun to screw around with them too, because if you're willing to troll me, I'm willing to respond back. And I'm not always, I'm willing to, give it back to you if you're willing to ask stupid questions. So, play stupid game, win stupid prizes. By the way, what's everyone drinking tonight? Because I have a beer here from Baxter Brewery called A Couple More Miles, and I think it's pretty fitting. I know the person's hiking, but I can always use a couple more miles in my account. I mean, can't you? And we'll get to the Q&A here in just a second too. And I really love making the videos, but I love hearing your success stories of how you used your points for a dream trip, how your credit cards have saved you money, how you know you've done something with these points or gotten your credit score higher. So, and inspiring people too is why I've also started the podcast, because that's a lot of fun for me. It's a different avenue, and it's different from YouTube. So again, before we get to the Q&A, I want to thank all of you really for being here, getting the channel to this number, and just tuning in to the videos. Without all of you here, this channel isn't what it would be without you all here. So thank you all so much. But now let's get to your questions. By the way, I learned now I can magnify the comments, so I'm not squinting in really hard. So let's go. Let's get to it. What's going on, Tyree? How you doing, man? Yankees. I sound better with the new mic. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is it's the AT 2020 USB Plus, so it's a USB plug and play microphone, and it's really nice. I like it. It's I don't have to. I feel like the sound quality was better than what I was getting with the Blue Yeti, so I like it. So I'm really happy with it. Let's see. Ben has the Blue Yeti as well. Let's see. If you wouldn't mind, can you show the tattoo on your forearm? Any stories on it? Congrats on 10K. Thank you, Ryan, very much. Yeah, sure, man. So I'll move my mic over. So on my forearm, it's a tattoo of the world map. I mean, it's almost like a reflection. You know what I mean? The map there, map here. But so I love travel, and travel inspires me, and it was a fitting tattoo for me. I'd been wanting to do something for a while to get a tattoo regarding travel. So to get one on my forearm, it made sense for me, and I'm really happy with it. And the mic is awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, as well. Thank you, Sean. What's going on, Adam? How you doing? Jamil, how you doing? Let's see. Jason, Joseph says, can't stay, about to go out to eat. We're on vacation. Joseph, you're probably not here right now, but thank you very much for stopping by. You've been a supporter of the channel for a long, long time. Thank you so much. And I'll be curious where you're vacationing at right now. Oh, look, my buddy Eric's here too. What's going on, Eric? Let's see. Glad you didn't lose faith. Yeah, man, you gotta keep pushing through. And I think that's one thing new channels just have to keep doing. You just got to keep pushing, man. Let's see. Different is always better. You don't be like everyone else. Red Bull and vodka. All right. Not a bad drink. In your Buffalo Bills cup. All right. Let's see. What's going on, Justin? Talk more about stimulus checks and you'll get more subscribers. That's a very accurate statement. But one thing I did notice, I think I've mentioned this before, I did 2 stimulus checks videos, and I think that was plenty for me. But what I noticed in those videos too was just background analytics stuff. The average viewer of the channel is between 25 to 44. Now, in the 2 videos I did for stimulus checks, it was roughly 85,000 views between those 2 videos. The average age was 55 plus. That was like 70% of my views. So the demographics completely shift for stimulus videos compared to credit cards. So if you are growing with stimulus checks, I don't know what that looks like for credit cards and how you bring them back in. So, there's a lot of opportunity in the stimulus check stuff, and those guys that are hustling it, awesome. Very happy for all of them. I'm pulling for them to come back and get those people involved into their channels too. Let's see, Shauna, do you think the United Chase business card will be more difficult to get than the Chasing Preferred credit score? I think, Shauna, across the board, it depends. With Chase business cards, it's probably getting harder. I would say my question to you would be, are you applying as a sole proprietor? Because if you are, I would think it's going to be harder for you to get the card to begin with. Let's see. People that are relying on stimulus checks need to get real jobs. I'm trying to worry about government. Okay. Okay. What cards are you looking to acquire next? Francis, I'm looking. So fun fact. There's a new card in the mail. I'll have a video on it when it comes in, but there is a new card in the mail, and I think it'll all make sense to people when it comes in. But outside of that card, I'm looking at the new U.S. Bank cards. The new U.S. Bank cards with the Go and the Connect, that I think the Go is rumored to release on June 8th. So I'll have a video about that time on the video as well. But those U.S. bank cards, man, are looking really, really good. Let's see. No more stimulus stuff unless something passes. Totally annoyed. Yeah, I did one on a proposed bill, but then there was like 37 more proposed bills in like a 3-day period. So if something passes, I'll do a video on it. But yeah, I won't do anything on more proposed bills. It seems like they're changing all the time. Ernest is great. Got a credit card consult with him before. Really nice guy. You both, as well as Sebby, have changed my strategy. Thank you very much on that, Yankee. Yeah, Ernest is a great guy. Ernest is a very good person, and he's very, very knowledgeable. So he's awesome. Let's see, 4% utilization, 424, just refinance. 2 3 biz cards. Am I okay with Ink Unlimited? Will be the question about my company, or should I get a co-branded card? Thomas, it depends right now. And I guess it would really depend on one, if you want a bank ship with, if you have a banking relationship with Chase and what you're applying as. Sole proprietors are pretty much like dead in the water with Chase, it seems right now. And if you don't have a banking relationship, that's very hard as well. So it can be very difficult for people to get a business credit card with Chase right now. Charles, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, that is extremely generous. Thank you so much. Wow, oh, that is so nice. Thank you so much. Let's see. All right, now back up. Let's see. Tips and hacks for traveling a family of 5. Adding a 5th person to the hotel is expensive. It is. So what you're going to want to do, depending on where you're traveling, is you're going to want to look at alliance partners and how you can maximize those points. For domestic travel, you have opportunities. I mean, possibly the Southwest Companion Pass. Depending on where you're going, you can utilize those transfer bonuses from like American Express or Citi. Airbnb is a possibility as well, because you can get a really good place potentially for inexpensive comparative to a hotel cost. Sometimes too, breaking it up. I know this is not always the case with people, but breaking up the reservation so you can get saver space on 2 separate flights. Not everyone can do that, but that is an option as well. Let's see. Are you going to FinCon this year? Shauna, I do plan to go to FinCon this year. As long as it's still going on, I'll be heading out that way. I have my reservations booked, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for a lot of good networking and a really good time out there. Hey, Greg, how you doing, man? Quick question. I have 100,000 UR points. I want to upgrade to the reserve to the CSP. Is it worth it? Are you looking to do, I would say, one, how are you redeeming your points? Transfer partners through the Chase Travel Portal? Or are you looking to upgrade to take advantage of the pay yourself back option that'll be rolling out in the next couple of days? Let me know down below so I can get back to that question for you. Let's see. Thomas, you and Ernest have been instrumental in my journey. Sebi and Shufu started me off lately. It's all pandemic and stimulus stuff nonsense. I think, but I'm not gonna. Well, thank you so much for that, Thomas. Ernest Ernest puts out great stuff. I love his national park videos. So he has great production quality. Sebi and Shufu are great too. I think Sebi's a little bit more analytical, and I appreciate that about him. He looks at things differently, and when I watch his videos, it makes me think a little bit differently, and I like that. All right. Time for let's see. Lewis, I don't have a credit card. I don't have a YouTube channel, but I know the good credit cards. I know the good credit card YouTubers. You're very good. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate the kind words, man. Thank you so much. A nice liter of, oh, there you go. Good beer. That's a good beer. Let's see. White wine in the house. Wine's fine. White wine's good. Let's see. Speaking of collaborations, let's see. Vince says, speaking of collaborations, it would be amazing if you did a Zoom collab with finance and credit card YouTubers such as Chevy, Sufu, Miss Be Helpful, etc. If they could do it, that'd be great. I know some of them are really busy, and I know some don't always like to work with smaller creators. But it's an opportunity, and I would love to have like a big live stream, YouTube, Zoom. Maybe I'll try to put it together. Let me see if I can get something in the works with them. Can't guarantee it'll happen, but let me see if I can put something in the works for that, Vincent. Bud Light Lime, just trolling me, Eric. Let's see, coffee, awesome. Bingo, you rock. Shauna says, all right, I can get some of those guys on a Zoom collab. I can't guarantee anything. I don't think everyone will be in on it, especially with the different time zones, but I'll work on getting that done. Let's see. Is that together going in Long Beach, or am I still thinking you're talking about coming up to quarantine was lifted? Nope, it's still going to be in Long Beach. Is that still going to be in Long Beach if FinCon is still on? Let's see. Appreciate your channel because you're not focused on luxury aspirational travel. Thank you very much. I try to gear the channel towards people for the everyday person. Not everyone can do aspirational awards or do around the world tickets and fly first class. I think, I've asked questions before for people in the community tab, and for people, a lot of them fly coach. They don't have, extensive time where they can travel 10 times a year. So they're just trying to get to their destination as cheaply as possible, and they're trying to make the most of it. So that's who I really gear for, because I'm not an aspirational traveler. I fly coach. I stay in Airbnbs. I stay at budget hotels. So I'm not going to really talk about that stuff. I mean, I can do it, but I prefer to extend my points as more as I can. Does the podcast also have video to it? Sean, it doesn't have video to it. I've gone back and forth about doing video podcast and putting it on like a podcast channel, but right now it's just audio. It's on all the major platforms for it. Business says I don't watch stimulus videos unless they're about a final product. Okay. Let's see. Casey says, I think when travel comes back, Chase might reuse the pay yourself back feature, but for general travel purchases, it'd be amazing if you could cover Airbnb at 1.5 cents per point. Casey, I would absolutely agree with you on that. If they could get Airbnb for general, they could get that general travel credit or use your points out for Airbnb, it would be pretty fantastic, because you can't do that with anything else. I know you can save a lot of money stacking offers with the Airbnb, and that's something I do. But if that would give Chase a unique thing here. If they just do these temporary benefits and go back to what they were doing, then I think that falls by the wayside. Like, the Chase has done some good things, especially with the second wave of benefits. But I'm curious if they'll keep that up after this post-pandemic, or will it be a or will they keep it around? Any new wallet changes? I don't think so. I don't even think, is my wallet in my pocket? Nope, my wallet's not even down here with me. Nothing changing in the wallet yet. There is a new card in the mail. I'll do a video on that when it comes in. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see. Hey, Randy, how you doing, man? I'm great. Thank you for tuning in the live stream. I really appreciate it. Roth, congrats. Yeah, man, Roth, you have been here from the start. I remember, because I think I remember one of our live streams. You're based out of Boston. So I think if I remember that correctly. But yeah, you've been here a long time, and some of you guys have been here for a long time. So I do try to remember people who've been here for a while. Thank you, Randy, for that. Hitting 10K has been pretty awesome. Let's see. Stick with your strength credit cards. David's gone to exclude stimulus videos. I haven't watched him since. Keep up your great credit card. Thank you very much for that, Yankee. I think once, David, I think is looking to get back into credit card talk soon. And once he does, I definitely have people tuning into his stuff. He has a great credit card minded videos, just very, very good and very detailed. So I look forward to get back into credit card content, because I know he and I like to bounce ideas off each other too. I think you called it FinCon. Yes, FinCon. Yep. Let's see. Thoughts on UBS? UBS, I think is an okay bank. They have a couple good opportunities, Roth. And it would be definitely a late game card for a lot of people. If I do, Shauna, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You guys are all so generous. Let's see. If I do come to Cali, I definitely will have a meetup. Mark, how are you doing? Let's see. You just booked your first flight for the fall vacation. Use points for chasing preferred. It's pretty easy. Where's my next trip? Currently, my next trip booked is to FinCon out in LA or Long Beach. I'm hoping there could be potential for travel later this fall, but it seems hit or miss right now with everything going on. So I know I did a video a long while back. It feels like forever ago, of why I would continue to travel during this pandemic. But the data has really shifted, and paying attention to some of the stuff with some of the side effects or some of the adverse events for kids. We have one small kid. We have one, my son's almost a year and a half. And then, our second son is on the way. So I don't want anything that could potentially hurt him long term. So being a little bit more cautious now that there's more information about how this has been affecting children. So and with especially like with I was reading about like heart issues. So don't want anything to happen to him. So I'm being a little bit cautious with it, but I'm hoping later this fall. Let's see. Justin says, does US Bank have rules like Chase or American Express 524? Love your channel. Thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate that. US Bank is notoriously a conservative bank. So while they don't necessarily have a 524 rule, they are very conservative. So if you're someone who's been applying for cards recently, it could be harder for people to get in with them. Typically with a card like the US Bank Altitude Reserve, it, recommended for people to not really apply for a card for almost like 6 months in order to maybe be in their good graces to do so. And sometimes for people that's too long. But no hard and steadfast rule. Brian, congrats. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Fernanda, how you doing? Thank you. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in to the channel. Thank you so much. Let's see. I have a relationship with them. I have a county, state legal name, no EIN yet. They have time and the stellar advice. All right. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have no EIN, Thomas, and you're applying as a sole proprietor, it would be very difficult for you to get a Chase Inc. card, I think, at this time. If you can get an AIN and maybe if you're like an LLC, even with, I think I was seeing data points. Oh God, this was a couple days ago. I think people who even have an EIN as a sole proprietor were getting rejected based on business type. So keep that in mind. Let's see. I topped out at 12 credit cards. I don't spend enough to use all these cards, but I'm thinking about upgrading to the Hilton Aspire. No bonus. The rub, though, I'm mulling it over. The Aspire, I think, is a very overpowered card, especially with the changes coming as of June 1st, being able to use that resort credit for dining purchases, which I'm super excited about because come June 1st, I'm going to order a lot of food and eat and dine out quite a bit based on that. So I'm really happy about that. I don't know if I would upgrade without getting a bonus, though. That bonus is worth it. It is a big deal. It has a lot of value, but that bonus is huge. That's just me, though. Getting back from week vacation Myrtle Beach. Nice to get the family out of the house. Man, I'm so looking forward to getting the family out of the house again. My wife and I were talking today. My last trip was Dublin back in the end of February, and hers was March. She went to Paris right before all this stuff happened, or the shutdowns happen. And that feels like forever ago. And I mean, it was only a couple months, and it makes me think of people who travel once every year or once every other year. It makes me feel like forever that it's been 3 or 4 months since I've traveled. And that feels like a lifetime. So I'm looking forward to get back out there. Let's see. Don't tell me you have a party of 5 when you book your hotel. That is one potential way. If a hotel, not all hotels will check, some may, and if that happens, you could be in an issue. But I agree. If you book for 4, it can definitely change things for you. Tyree says, being 23, getting the credit card game, I look for YouTube channels that are honest and straightforward. You're the best. Thank you so much, Tyree. I appreciate those kind words, man. I think you get what you get with me. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I think sometimes people think I may flip flop, but I'll give credit to Chase, or I'll give credit to Chase when they do something well. I'll make sure to criticize them when they don't, and it ebbs and flows. The game changes. You can't just always say something's garbage. I mean, I don't think the reserve is a great card, but during this time right now, what they've done some really good things. So give them credit where it's due. You know what I mean? Let's see. What are your big picture thoughts on award travel post all this? So I think for a short period of time, I think after this, airlines are going to need to get people back in the planes. And if you're looking now at award space, which I've done a few times, there is some really good award space out there because people aren't really booking. Long term, I'm curious what it'll be. Will they shorten up, or will they reduce the amount of award space that's there? Will we see increase in prices? I mean, we saw United go dynamic for partners as well as for their flights. Will we see those increase? So I think we'll definitely have some opportunities, I think, for really good redemptions early on. And I mean, even Emirates just dropped all their fuel surcharges on a lot of their flights. So you can get Emirates went from a program, you use it, situationally, to a really good opportunity for certain flights. So we could see some short-term gains out of this. If you want, Edgar, you want a reading for the cash tag at 1.5? Edgar, I don't know if you've seen the video. I just did a video yesterday on if it's worth upgrading from a no fee to basically upgrading to one of the Sapphire Preferred to Reserve. I talk about that in there. It would depend on how many points you have in your account. I would definitely check that video out. I think I talk about that probably about midway through of upgrading from the Sapphire Preferred to the Reserve. If you haven't seen the video, definitely give that one a look, just because I do go into more details with numbers. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head about that situation and what the value would be really receiving when you upgrade, because you wouldn't be getting that bonus. Let's see. Love my Schwab Platinum. Transfer over 200,000 and turn my points into money and more money and more money with your stocks. That's awesome, Charles. You know, that's a really good thing. What is my favorite destination? That's a good question. I've had a lot of good destinations. One destination that always pops in my mind though is Budapest. Budapest was my first, I always say my first real international trip, but it was a great destination. Great architecture, great food, great history, really inexpensive to visit. So, and a great, I mean, you could easily go to the Czech or even Austria from there as well. And it was very easy to get to. So Budapest was great. I had a great time, and we've mostly traveled pretty much in just Europe, but I mean, Amsterdam was great. There's just so many opportunities or so many places that are great, but those are ones that would be up toward the top of my list. What's going on, Solid Liquid? How you doing, man? Let's see. American Express is watching their live stream, so I can bother to bring back the Zinc card. If American Express, if you're watching, just, let me know. No Zoom, bad only Hangouts. Yeah, they just did like Zoom Hangout meetings, didn't they? Let's see. Shauna says, I have $17,000 for tuition, to spend $17,000 for tuition for my daughter's boarding school next 2 years. What credit card do you recommend to maximize points? Well, Shauna, I would say if you can open a lot of different credit cards to meet those minimum spend requirements, that's going to give you the best return, because you're going to get a lot of bonus points from there. Outside of that, if you're looking for just one card, if it's cash back, you can get a card like the Citi Double Cash, or even like the Alliant credit card, where you get 3% in that first year and then 2.5% back afterwards, because you would be spending enough to where it would be beneficial over that 2% mark. Or a card that earns you like 1.5x, like the Unlimited or Freedom Unlimited as well. So it depends on the goals there, and if you're comfortable opening a lot of cards to get points. You were asking about what we were drinking. I'm drinking a Yuengling Lager. Oh, that's very nice. That is a very good beer. I've had those ones before. I do like Yuengling. They're very good. Let's see. I really like. Oh, they did it again. They move it. Sorry, let's see. I really like your silent thought process. Thank you for putting your thought out there and helping us. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. It's always straightforward with me. I think that's, it's funny. I've always had when I see channels would get videos over like 10, 15 minutes, I don't know how they do it. I honestly have such a hard time getting videos to be like 7 or 8 minutes, because there's just, I can't talk long enough, and I don't put filler information or a story. I mean, maybe I talked stories a little bit, you might be able to, if I give a story maybe, but I'm trying to work on my storytelling, because I don't know if I'm a good storyteller. How many credit cards do I have? I think at the moment, I cumulatively put me and my wife together on this. I think we have like, I've been opening a few recently, so I think we have like 43 between the two of us. A lot of them have no annual fees. We have some hotel cards we keep just because of the fact we get the benefits from it. So we have quite a bit. Let's see. Ross says, if you were making a plan to get max value out of Citi following current application rules, what would it look like? If I was looking to get max value out of Citi, I would definitely want a card that earns Citi thank you points. Probably going to go with the Citi Premier because of the fact of its 60,000 points bonus. From there, if you're looking to do the application rules from Citi, the Citi AA cards are pretty good, just for the fact it's so easy to earn a bunch of American airline miles. But also, I think if you're going to get the Citi setup, you want the Citi Double Cash, because you can transfer those over to thank you points as well, and that is a really good setup. And then if you have small purchases, the Reward Plus is a good opportunity as well, because it rounds up. So for me, it's definitely going to be looking at getting some business cards such as American Airlines and their personal cards, and then I'd probably go with the Citi Premier, because you have to wait so long after the Citi Premier to get another thank you point bonus. With the American Airline cards, you have a little bit of more leeway because they've changed those rules there. I vote for the next virtual happy hour to be held in the Facebook Messenger meeting, besides putting faces to name when we all chatted last time. Randy, I agree. That was a lot of fun. I did a quick Facebook has started doing these like Facebook groups or message groups. I don't know what they're called, but we had like a small group in there to put faces to names with people. So maybe I try to do that at some point as a side off from this, but I don't know how many people are watching this right now. How many people are watching this actually right now? 46 people. I don't know how it would handle 46 people, but we could definitely test that. Let's see. What's the rotating globe index? I see it in some videos. Is it battery powered? It's not. It's actually right here. It's a so it's not battery powered, but it's done by the light makes it move and depends on what's going on in there. But it's fluid and it's a MOVA globe. It's possibly one of my favorite things I think I've ever bought for the office. But when it's in the videos and there's a lot of light on it, especially when the sun's out, it'll just spin on its own. So that's why you see that in the videos. I've moved it over to the corner here, trying to put it in a place where it can be in videos regularly again, but it's a lot of fun to watch it spin. Let's see. Alex, congrats on 10K, Dustin. What are some niche cards that are rarely talked about, but offer some unique rewards that Alex, thank you very much. First off, I appreciate that. I'm very excited for 10K. Some niche cards. Oh man, I'm trying to think that are rarely talked about. There's a couple credit union cards. You have, what's one I talked about the other day? It was, or you get 5%. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but you get like an additional 5% on certain categories. I think Alliant, while, it's not necessarily, it's maybe for people who have higher spend. If you have a really high spend and you're looking for one single card to kind of earn a lot of cash back, you don't want to deal with rotating categories. Alliant's pretty good. I mean, let's say you have Fort Knox has a good gas card. Was it Vantage West has some good cards or has a good card? I'm trying to think, man, this is a good question of some different niche cards. I'll have to think on a couple more, but I know there are some more. It'll come to me like in like a few minutes, so I'll let you know when I think of them. Let's see. Let's see. Does American Express offer any streaming credits? Dell. Yes, those will count, Roth. So any of those streaming credits will count towards your minimum spend. Absolutely. Dublin. Yes, Dublin was great. Let's see. Mark, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Ling, I didn't even see this one. Thank you so much. Wow, and you just finished the Iceland podcast. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the super chat. That's super generous. Iceland was a beautiful destination. I might go back and do another podcast on Iceland at some point in the future because there was a lot of great stuff that I want to talk more about because Iceland was just so fantastic. I don't know how to also explain it. It was just magical. Let's see. Yes, Eric, Dublin was great. We had a great time in Dublin. It was a lot of fun. We'll plan another trip together in the future. Let's see. Kyle, Chase Reserve Insurance doesn't cover COVID from their third-party insurance, but Chase filed a dispute for airline charge on a ticket within 30 days. Refunded. That's awesome. Because they don't have to do that because it is. I know that was one big thing that these were excluded. It's awesome to see Chase come through for you like that. I've seen a few data points where Chase hasn't come through for people. So I'm happy to see a positive data point and a sea of potential ones. Thank you, Eric, very much on that. Congrats to 10K. Thank you very much. On to 1 million. Man, that's a long time away, I think. But thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Let's see. I'm wondering what will happen to WordSpace with so many carriers retiring large portions of their fleets. I think we'll really have to see, Randy, but I do think for the short term, we'll see with people not wanting to travel internationally, particularly with the information saying it'll take years. I think we'll see a pretty decent amount of award space internationally. And I can't imagine where airlines are going to start gouging prices. So if prices are lower domestically, there should be some good opportunities potentially to the travel portals. Or cash fares as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But just so far, looking at what it's come, even in my short searches, there is some really good award space out there currently. The +1 in Budapest, awesome. Thank you, Point Blank Travel. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. Take care, LA. It was good talking to you, man. Let's see. The 737 doesn't seem like any of them taking delivery of new planes soon. I don't. Yeah, it'll be. I'm really interested in to see what they do with it. If they some of these, it'll be very interesting to see. But especially if they start trying to expand at some point, and some of these airlines are starting to talk about having. I need a haircut, don't I? I mean, look at this. This is so long, but it's okay. I'm going to let it grow out, I guess, for a bit till things clear up. And so it'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Shinobu, what's up, my friend? I haven't made gold. Delta Blue. Said Delta Blue can get 4% of groceries now. Should I use that or the Delta Gold? If it's me, I'm still using the Delta Gold because the Delta Gold can be turned into 4 Delta miles and it gives you more flexibility. So definitely go Delta Gold or the Amex Gold over the Delta Blue. Let's see. What do you think of the Hilton Aspire being? What do you think of the Hilton Aspire card being resort credit converted to restaurant spending? I think it's great, Joe. I think it gives us more flexibility. You know, not everyone stays at a Hilton resort. Personally, I don't, but I do spend money on dining, and I'm looking forward to using that credit. And it does make me feel I'm getting more value from the card. So next the annual fee comes due, I will remember that and say, well, I did get value and I did use it. So when I do my calculations, it will make sense for me. Oh man, let's see. If I could keep only one travel card, what would I keep? That's an interesting one to me because the Altitude Reserve is a very solid all-around card. I enjoy it. It does really, really well. That would still probably be my top travel card. It's got great travel insurance. The other one I do like for the simplicity of cashing things out, do whatever I want, is the premium reward card because I do have the platinum honor status. But as far as a travel card, I'm still going Altitude Reserve. You know, if they change it, that could change my opinion on it. But at the right now, it's still really good. That's an easy one for me, I think. Let's see. Nervous about carriers not serving small hubs in U.S. after they're not allowed to drop some. How do I find out if Delta or United will take over my small airport? Shauna, you probably want to keep an eye on your local airport's news section or even Twitter. My little airport here in Bangor was hit. Delta is stopping flying for a period of time, which really hurts because I do prefer Delta. So out of my little airport, I'm now stuck with United, American, and Allegiant. None of those would be my first choice of options or second choice or possibly third choice, but that's what I would be stuck with. So hopefully Delta comes back at some point. I'm really hoping it, I'm really hoping because Delta just has, I think, a really good in-flight product as well as their on-flight time is really good. I don't think I don't trust American to get me somewhere on time. Let's see. Ling says, thank you again very much for another super chat. Wow, that is super generous. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Let's see. I got denied for the gold card after holding the platinum card for 45 days. How long should I wait before reapplying? So, Poopet, I think it depends on a few things. How active, if you've been denied, did you call reconsideration? Because you haven't called reconsideration. I don't know how long ago you applied for the gold card. Calling reconsideration could help. And what was the reasons for denial from them? You know, they don't have I mean, you can get 2 cards in 9 days for credit cards, but the charge cards don't have any limits on that from if I remember correctly. So what was the reasons for them denying you? That'd be my question there. Let's see. Don't forget to tell everybody today and tomorrow are the last days to keep American's cards to be able to make them spend for 6 months. That is very true, Charles. So if you are thinking about American Express cards to get that 6-month window to meet that minimum spend requirement, you have until May 31st to apply for it. So if you're that gives you a lot of time for people for those higher spends, such as a gold card if you're considering it, or even a green card or the platinum card and whatnot. So definitely keep an eye out for that if you're looking at that as well. Do you think, this is a good question. Do you think Like flexible points will be inflated or deflated. So I think that we're going to, well, for the short term, I think we're going to see good redemption values there. But if programs change, then it's going to be hard. It's going to cost more points potentially across the board. But I don't think we're going to see super high inflation such as through the portals. I think it's going to be kind of status quo. So I don't see it shifting too much as of right now in the sense of us being really like railroaded, if you will, to where all of a sudden it's going to cost us um, so many more extra points just through the portals. Partners transfers, if they make changes there, it could be a potential issue, such as like United did. IHG just recently rolled out, I think even in the US and Europe, I read today, dynamic pricing for their hotels. And I know some of the headlines were like, you can book intercontinentals at half the rate. I will caution people on this. While it sounds great now, remember, dynamic pricing is a double-edged sword. You can book premium places for half the price now, but later on it might be 6 times the cost what you used to pay. So it's a double-edged sword, which can be good, but having that flexibility to understand that, to know that while it may only cost you 30,000 points, also realize that it may cost you 100,000 points some other time on a Friday night. So keep that in mind off my soapbox there. What's going on, Travel and Invest? How you doing, man? Typing because you're running out of questions. Ask your questions, everyone. This is, if there's no questions, we can end. But I mean, there's still questions here, so ask away. Let's see. I have to discover it. Cash Plus, Freedom Inc. Cash. Recommend next. So, are you bonus chasing, Ben? Let's see. Think via American Express to get offers, maybe a travel card because I might travel for my job. I think if you're going to be traveling for your job, I think, and you're going to be able to put those expenses on your card too, that could be very good for you. So what I would consider, it sounds 1, 2, 3. It seems like you're under 524. I would still consider looking at chase cards just because if you don't do that, you'd be foregoing, big money cumulatively through this. So, you don't have a Sapphire Reserve, you don't have a preferred. I would look to get one of those for the big bonus. And depending on if that puts you at 524 there, actually 1, 2, 3. So that'd put you at what, 324 or 424. Then, you have the Freedom, the Ink Cash. You could look to get a Freedom Unlimited to couple with a Sapphire Preferred Reserve, or even a co-branded credit card like Hyatt or even United, depending on which airlines you'd be flying, to get extra value there. American Express would be good because you have those American Express offers, but you don't need that right away in the sense of the hierarchy of applications rules, because they're going to be there for you at 524, 624, 724. So I would still round out your 524 cards regardless of, maybe how I feel about the program and all, because even if you cash out, it's still worth a lot of money to you, and you should take that into consideration before kind of jumping over those cards. Let's see, even though the Delta cards are offering 4 points per dollar grocery stores, I'm still using my gold card. Great, good move, Charles. I agree with that there. Let's see. Any idea on the best ways to get to Russia now that they've raised their prices? I would look at a few things, Slavia. You could look at Avianca. I would still check United because you never know what it's going to be. You also have, SkyTeam as well. So I would check, one Delta, because they always have these flash sales. You could check Flying Blue, and those are some options for you. Also check cash fares. There's been some pretty decent cash fares that using them through the portal could potentially be a good option for you. But if you're looking for Star Alliance, I would definitely look at potentially United because it could be good, but definitely Avianca as well. And depending on what part of Russia you're going to and what airlines you're flying, you could look at Aeroplan as well as potentially even ANA, because ANA for business class round trip is like 88,000 miles, but on the potential airline, the fuel surcharges could be higher. So I would definitely take a look there. Let's see. Who bet I was denied because my relationship is not long enough? Platinum card. I would try all the retention, the reconsideration line if you could do that. If not, You'll have to just reapply later. I would definitely try to call the reconsideration line if you could, poophead. By the way, I love your name. Love your name. Let's see. Looks like on the news, Target was giving away free TVs. You have to run. Oh, Jesus. Charles. Let's see. Travel and invest. I have 60,000 life miles stashed. I hope international travel opens up before my life miles become worthless. I hope international, you can book something with it. I know there were questions I was getting about life miles. Their program at this point in time looks okay. There's nothing going on there. Do understand though, if they start liquidating that, if they start, completely liquidating, the miles would be worthless. So you do want to keep that in mind. I know Amazon's not the most valuable reason for it or to use of it, but if there's going to be rumblings of them going out of business or whatnot, which I don't think is going to happen, could, but I just don't think it's going to happen as of yet, you could try to cash those in. That's not, some value is better than no value, but hopefully for travel, we can use them soon. Let's see, Randy, what are you saying? Let's see. What special become my favorite redemption before COVID? I'm running out of weight for an A miles. Any ideas, especially since the shopping portals? So a couple ways are in AA miles. You have Marriott, they convert at a 3-to-1. You have for AA as well, you have their co-branded credit cards that could be that you could earn for them. You could look to use partners. So Alaska miles could be used on American airline flights. So Alaska miles are very valuable as well. They have a lot of great opportunities. Depending on where you're flying, you could look to use other alliance partners such as Iberia, Asia miles. So there's a lot of opportunities there for some alliance. But as far as earning American airline miles, and you have the Citibank accounts, you have the co-branded credit cards, other, the backdoor way like Marriott, and some of the promotions. If you're flying premium cabins, you could potentially look to see if, during one of their buying miles promotions, if you have an immediate need, if it makes sense for you to purchase miles, that's just something to consider as well. Let's see. Let's see. Do I have more than one cash reward with Bank of America yet? Yes, actually I do. Jake Bro, by the way. Jake Bro's there in the house. Jake, how you doing, man? So, yes, Jake, I have 2 cash reward cards. One is a MasterCard and the other is a Visa. And then I also have the premium reward card. So I am running what Jake would call, which he just did a recent video on, is the Bank of America trifecta. And I've considered getting a 4th or a 3rd cash reward card because currently I'm using my 5.25% categories at dining and for online purchases. And I get 5% back from either like my Discover card currently or my USAA card. But home improvement stores has some place I've been shopping at recently, and I could always use more for online shopping as well. So I thought about getting the Bank of America quadfecta, Jake. Should we cash out using the reserve? I have 800,000 points. I think it depends on your goals, Sam. I don't. Have you seen the video by chance of where the recent video I did talking about cashing out at the 1.5 cents per point? I think one that depends on your goals. 800,000 points. That is a lot of cash for you in your hand to travel with, to invest, to pay bills and live on. So if you're a premium cabin flyer, I don't think so. If you're a coach flyer, take a look at your goals where you're looking to go. It could potentially be worth it for you. What has been your best continental U.S. vacation? What airline did you use? Hotels did you stay? Cash back or points? All right. So I think one of my favorite places to visit in the U.S., one, I love New York, but outside of New York, I had a great time in San Diego, and I had a fantastic time in Chicago. Chicago was awesome, and I really loved it there. This is when I lived in New Hampshire, so we flew on Southwest, and I think I had like a $30 fare. It was pretty crazy. It was like a pricing screw up on their system. It cost me like 2,600 points at the time to fly it. So we flew to Chicago, went to San Francisco, and then San Diego. And on that trip, Chicago and San Diego were outstanding. I had Hyatt certificates. So at the time, the Hyatt credit card was offering 2 free nights at any property. We stayed at the Park Hyatt in Chicago because, why not? And because I had matched or like status matched up to diamond status pre stupid globalist names, we were upgraded to a really nice room overlooking the city, and the same thing in San Diego. So it was awesome. Those would be some of my favorite places for the continental US. All right, let's see. Let's see. I have the Chase Sapphire Preferred and Ink Preferred. Do you think I should just downgrade the Sapphire Preferred to the Freedom Unlimited to avoid one of the annual fees? Market analysis, I would say so. That's what I think. If you're looking to keep one of those cards for the annual fee, I would keep the Ink Preferred personally, and I'd get rid of the Sapphire Preferred. I don't think the Sapphire Preferred is worth holding on to outside of the sign-up bonus. 2x on dining and travel, it's pretty weak in that sense. And you earn 3x on, so the way I look at it, you're earning 3x on travel with the Ink Preferred. So you're outdoing the Sapphire Preferred. And by dining, you're losing half a point per dollar when you go to the Freedom Unlimited. So in keeping a fee, Sapphire Preferred's out, Ink Preferred stays, get the Freedom Unlimited. That's what I would be doing. For domestic travel, what do you think would be the best credit card to carry? That's an interesting, because I think it depends on where you live too. But as a general travel card, if you're looking for domestic travel, oh man, it's going to depend on where you live. But for one card, I'm still leaning toward Altitude Reserve. For a coach traveler, I mean, 1.5 cents per point on domestic airlines like that is really, really good. For me, it's what it is. It's hard to get more than 1.5 cents per point for domestic travel flying coach. So that's a pretty good opportunity. Let's see. What sign-up bonus is worth getting for a 2.75% fee in your opinion? Dope, but what's the 2.75% fee? Are you using like PayPal or something to pay to get the sign-up bonus? Or is it, what's the fee coming in there? But as sign-up bonus, I mean, some of these sign-up bonuses are 20, 30, 40% of what you're, spending wise. So it could be really good there. Best airline, or should I say best airline card? That's really going to be dependent on where you live, Charles. For someone, Alaska is going to be really good. American Airlines could be really good. United, that is going to be definitely location dependent. Which is going to be easier for approval, the Wells Fargo Propel or Bank, the Altitude Go? I would probably think the Wells Fargo Propel, just because U.S. Bank is just a known conservative bank on their applications. What do you think of my chances for the Altitude Reserve? 0 for 6, 724. I think it's a decent opportunity. You might have to call in for reconsideration. Do you have a relationship with them, Roth? We love Jake. Jake is awesome. Yeah, you've got the Bank of America trifecta platinum honors member. Absolutely, Jake. I got that platinum honor status, which has been pretty awesome for me, and I enjoy it. I like the Merrill Edge platform as well. It's been pretty awesome for me. I have no complaints, and everything that I've seen, expense ratio wise, matches up what I would get directly with Vanguard. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I get an increased credit card, booster, which makes it a really good setup. So I could probably run the Bank of America quadfecta, and it would be so easy for me to earn out like great rewards for what I do. Let's see. Yep. So Sam, if you did, I would definitely say it's definitely going to depend on how many points you have, but 800,000 points is cash. That is a lot of cash. Let's see. So glad to see you here, Jake. Love your channel. Good to see someone else from North Dakota. I mean, North Dakota, it's like 6 people and like flat and like maybe a tree, right? I don't think North Dakota is super flat. You have like 1 tree per like for like 800,000 people or whatever it is, right? Not very many people compared to trees. Let's see. First successful commercial flight to space. How many ultimate points to go to the moon? That's a good question, Ketchy. I would if okay, here's a question. How many people would be willing to cash in all of your points and not earn points again for one trip to the moon? Would you be willing to basically cash in your points and never earn points again for a trip to the moon? I'm curious about that. Let me know. Fargo is the best place to travel. Oof. We live in New York. Let's see. I bet you should wear it more often. Man, yeah, my wife got me this hat actually for my birthday. So the other hat I had, it was an Adidas hat, and all the lettering came off, and like my son kept pulling the Velcro, so it was no longer holding on. So this is a really nice hat. I'm a big fan of it. It's a running hats are really nice because they're very lightweight and they're wick away all the moisture. So running hats are what I've been really into. Let's see. Chicago, fantastic. Yes, absolutely. It's sad that you had to. It's sad you had to cancel that trip to Chicago. Let's see. Thinking about shifting my grocery spend after I max out my Steve Harvey One Boy cards. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely, Randy. That would be definitely a big play there. Absolutely, getting that. Let's see. For continental U.S., think about San Diego. Great space, night temps, good hotels. Deadwood was super fun, and they have great food. The food in San Diego was very, very good. So San Diego is awesome. Plastic. If it's for plastic, then I mean, I would use other ways such as shift spending, is prepaying other bills to uh, to earn your bonus, and I would use plastic as a last resort because of that fee. But a lot of these bonuses are so high, Sapphire Preferred 60,000 points for $95, so you're in your 4,000 spend. So it's a good return for you. So it would eat into some of your rewards, but for those that would be worth it. Let's see. How far are you into the credit card game? When will you reach the end? Will you just rely on the referral system? Oh, wait, missed the question sorry. Let's see. Decent level card. Premier would make a decent everyday card. Then you point to the portal or Travel Port would make a decent dress. Yes, I do agree, Randy. The City Premier would be a great option. The Premier and City Double Cash would be a great option for a 1-2 combination and earn really good transferable points. So, Bubba, to answer your question, I've been in the game for 6 years, 7 years now. And will the end? When you reach the end? When will I reach the end? I don't know if there is an end. And the reason why I say that is there's always new cards, there's always product changes, there's always revamps, there's always something to do. And then if you churn, you can wait the washout period and get it again. So for good examples, I'm due for a bonus on a City thank you point card in June of this year. I've had the thank you Premier twice already. I've earned the bonus twice. It's going to be my third time probably getting the Premier to earn a bonus on it. So it's evolving. I don't know if it ends. It's just evolving. Let's see. Have Bank of America Platinum Honor status as well. Really wish they'd bump that Alaska card for being a Platinum on. Man, Randy, if they did that, that would be awesome. I would be all over that card just because of how great that would be. How much do I pay in annual fees per year on all of your cards? I would say in the ballpark of $800 to $900, and I say that in the sense of my altitude reserve is $400. Okay, when I take in that travel credit, which I do value at a 1-to-1 because I'm going to spend money on travel to begin with, it brings down to $75. I have American Express is still keeping my Aspire at $95. So we have that there. I have a bunch of hotel cards. So probably it might actually be like $600, $600 in the ballpark just because of the net cost of it. Yeah, because I tend to keep a lot of no fee cards, and I do just evaluate those cards. I think, yeah, it's probably $600. Let's go $600. Maybe I'll do a video on how much I actually have overall. Moon for all points. Yes, I would trade everything for a moon. Nope. I would only my only chance. Let's see. Oh, these are good. My only chance to get a moon. Going to space is one destination. Traveling around the world is hundreds of thousands. Absolutely. I don't know. I feel like I would I cash out to go to the moon? I guess it would depend on how long I'm going for. That would be a good like that's interesting because what would one would like that's a big sacrifice, but man, it would be very cool to go to space. Elon, hear me out, Elon. If you're watching, hook me up, man. I'll take that risk. I'll get in your in the shuttle and I'll be, flight number 2. Hook me up. Call me. Let's see. I'm currently using my Surpass 12X until July 31st for supermarkets over the Blue Cash Preferred. Think I'm getting enough value at 12X over 6X cash. Ian, I think it depends on, I think, yes, one, I think you're more value in the sense of what their points are worth. But if you're not going to be staying at a Hilton property, then no. Because while 12X is great, you need to use those points to get value. And 6% cash is still 6% cash that you can use. So I would look, if you're not going to be traveling to Hilton and using Hilton properties, then no, because value is all relative. So you would need to redeem those. But yes, do you plan to use them? Absolutely, I would say so. Depends on whether they serve that. How is it? Freeze-dried ice cream on the flight to the moon. Freeze-dried ice cream, man, that'd be great. I love that stuff. Let's see. If you like Nike or Under Armour, when you come out here to California, you have outlets and stuff is super cheap. That's awesome. I do like Under Armour and Nike stuff. Although I do typically buy my clothes. I would say like I'm more like a Graham Stephan in the sense like I don't like to spend a lot on my shirts. I think I get them like Target clearance section, $3 or $4 a shirt. Although the shirt I'm wearing today was sent to me from Wallaby. This was a couple years ago. So, I don't spend a lot of my money on clothes, but absolutely, Nike and Armour are great for my workout equipment or workout gear. Let's see. Favorite combination in gold and blue business plus? Great combination. Let's see. Out of all the credit companies, which has the best transferable partners for domestic travel? I guess it depends on how much work you want to do. I still think American Express has really good partners for domestic travel over Chase. And I know some people like, well, they don't have Southwest, but that's okay. Absolutely. I agree with Randy. American Express. Let's see. Which non-travel card would you get for a sign-up bonus and rewards if you had to spend $3,800? Well, I would look at it in the sense of I'm going to be earning a bonus. What's also going to be the category I'm spending in? If it is, I think that's a big question for me is how much, what category is going into this $3,800 in the sense of how's it going to code? But cash wise, you have Bank of America, the premium reward, that's $500 cash back bonus. You have Capital One, they offer a $300 bonus in taxes. I would still probably $500 for Bank of America the premium reward at $500 is in a $3,000 spend is a pretty good option there. That's a good return. That's what I would probably do, just for that there. Anything useful from PenFed at the moment? No, I don't think so. They got the 2% card and they have their 5X card, but the points aren't worth 1 cent per point for gas. I'm hoping for the PenFed Pathfinder to be released at some point. I know they put that on pause during this whole time. Let's see. Is FinCon open to the public or do you have to be in the industry to attend? You have to register for it. I don't think there's any requirements. FinCon's a huge conference, Randy, that for financial, there's a lot of people for the FIRE movement and, people for talking of stocks and finances and whatnot. So it's definitely not just part of the industry. I'm going to network and to learn, but you don't have to be part of the industry to be there. Let's see. Were you at Oklahoma when they won the National Golf Championship? I didn't go to Oklahoma for undergrad, so I lived in Oklahoma, but what year did they win? Because we moved out of Oklahoma in like 90 something. So I was born there, but I haven't been there in a little while. What is the best bank to go with checking and savings account? For those high interest savings account, they've cut back on a lot of those. I know you have a lot of different options. Doctor of Credit's a really good website to use because they update these all the time for, earn 4% back up on the $10,000 here, 5% on this amount of here. I personally use a mix of like American Express's savings account, it's like 1.3%. And is that right? That's mostly where I keep my savings at. That is, yeah. But if you're also, yes, as Ben said, you have credit for the Reddit churning section for bank bonuses. Let's see. I currently have 5 hard inquiries in the last 12 months. 1 Experian, 1 CSP to fall off in June. Pick up a high card in August. 4 inquiries is. I don't think so. If you're under 524 Yankee, at this time, I don't think 4 inquiries in the last 12 months is too much. Could that change with Chase? Absolutely. At this moment, I don't think so if you're under 524. So, I don't think so. All right, everyone. All right, that looks to be the end of the questions. We've been going for a little over an hour. So, all right. First off, again, I want to thank all of you for all the support and being here, watching the videos, sharing the videos, liking, disliking, commenting, trolling, whatever you do. I just appreciate the fact you tune in and you have felt that the information on this channel is good enough for you to subscribe and turn those notifications on as well. And I genuinely appreciate all of you so much because the channel wouldn't be what it is without you. And I look forward to seeing growth on the channel and providing valuable content for you in the future as well. So if you know someone who could benefit from the video or benefit from the channel, share it with them. I'm always looking to improve. I take questions from people, but thank you all so much for it. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate all of it. So take care, everyone. Until the next video, safe travels. Take care, everyone.